Alright, so cool. We got a bunch of science from that, which is cool. We also got our parts back, all the parts that we recovered, which gives us extra funds, and our crew, and she got a little bit of experience. Experience and pilots lets them like do more advanced maneuvers and stuff, which is cool. Okay, but we got some science, we got some air. So we now have some more missions we can do. There's Investigate Aircraft Island. There's an old airfield across the island. That requires building a plane, and I am not good at that. Also, we don't really have the parts for that. Escape the atmosphere. That seems like a good one. Perform experiments around KSP or KSC. There's lots of opportunities to do science around the Kerbal Space Center. This essentially is much easier once we have wheels, and we can just like essentially just make a car and drive around the KSC. Test an engine above thing, test flight, test a bunch of things in flight. Those are annoying. Create a network for a satellite network for Kerbal. This actually isn't necessary anymore, just because there are more ground stations, but it is better to have a redundant satellite network. The satellite network is part of the remote tech mod, and it adds some cool things. You need a crew report over very specific locations. I think I am just going to... Yeah, these ones are just annoying because it's like they want you a specific altitude at specific speeds, and I'm just like, that's annoying. You know, let's do we want to try to see if we can actually like get to the aircraft island airfield? I don't know, I just feel like it's a bit risky, and there's no good new missions right now, so I'm just gonna go with the Escape the Atmosphere mission because we're doing pretty good on funds. Nothing that we got that wasn't here. We got a bunch of new things. So we also got a bunch of funds and stuff for getting in world firsts for EVA at home, launch first vessel, speed records, distance records, altitudes records, and those sort of things. And cool. That's all the alerts we have. Okay, science. Okay, so we have basic rocketry. We probably want both of these. This one gives us better rockets. Things like better solid fuel boosters and some other things. And yeah, we want that. We have 38 science to spend. And better engineering. This gives us the thermometer, which is a new science experiment we can run, which is useful for getting new science. And decouplers, which is very nice. Yeah. Okay, cool. And we can probably get one more of these. Wait, so do we want better engines or better rockets, which will help us get to orbit faster? Stability, which gives us radial decouplers, which means we can do fancier thruster setups, so we can have like external boosters and whatnot that can fall off. And there is survivability, which gives us some more chutes. Uses submersible science package to explore uncharted depths of the oceans. Data can be collected above and below the depth threshold for maximum science gain. Oh, interesting. This one has more science with the barometer. Universal storage radial tank. Observation copla. And life support mini pack. Okay. I'll actually go with this one just because it does have the pressure barometer, and getting more science I think is kind of usually my priority. Essentially it's kind of like the idea is like, do you want to focus on getting to more extreme places to get more science, or do you want to get more variety of science? Alright, cool. So we're going to need a name for a kind of a dinky little spacecraft that is essentially going to be... Hey there, how's it going? Alright, so we're gonna new spacecraft. New guy right here. This one is actually not even going to leave the ground. We don't need it to. got some heat shields, got some communication. We're just gonna give it some, we're gonna slap some goo on that. Gonna slap a thermometer on that. Gonna slap a barometer on that. And yeah, we don't really need that much else. So, who wants to name this one? Boring landing. Hey there. Thanks for the follow. And we're just gonna launch this one right here. And all this is going to do is get us a bunch of science. And not a bunch, but a little bit. It'll be enough. It'll be fine. Alright, cool. So yeah, just give us a nice little crew report. Oh, we know where I got that one. Observe the mystery goo. Cool. Log our temperature. Log our pressure data. Hey, thanks for the host. And now we're going to just give us an EVA report. And we're going to recover the vehicle because we just need to grab some, grab some science, got 9 more science, and that means we can probably get to the next node. And we're just gonna take that same exact vehicle. And we are going to, there's a switch, yeah, switch editor. Cool. This is a spaceplane hangar, which, nope, I never like how the movement in here works. And sure, we're just gonna launch it on its side. But technically all the different spots of the Kerbal Space Center are technically different biomes. Right, we're here. Give us a crew report. Cool. And a pressure data. I don't have the community science back. I forgot to do that, or community science, like, observations. You have to give us an EVA report, and... ooh, I have no idea. Thing is, my Steam is wrong, because I usually do my modded instances as a separate fork from my actual Steam, so it just doesn't track on Steam. But, hundreds and hundreds. Come on, get down their skirts, stop riding up. Oh shoot, I'm forgetting. Forgot a hairband. Yeah, cool. So we got some more science. And now, okay, so we unlock these nodes, which gives us basic science, which gives us science junior. And part of me does just kind of want to like save up for basic science, because it is very good to get like the science junior. An experiment storage unit is actually not bad either. This gives us first a satellite core, and our first like stuff for that. The magnetometer boom, which we can't really use until we're in space, but that is also useful. And yeah, let's see how far we can get, if we can get to this without going for the basic rocketry and just go like hard on like the advanced electronics and science side of things. Alright, cool. So we need another ship class name. Once the VAB loads. Cool. So, new base, because this is what you always do. And this one's gonna start actually going a bit far, so we're actually gonna slap a heat shield on there. Actually, this one has a blade of field shield on it. No, it doesn't. Oh yeah, I'm not using Deadly Reentry anymore, because I didn't see it on this version. Now we're gonna slap on a decoupler. This essentially lets us just like split those parts. Gonna give that a thing like there. Cool. And yeah. Those are these tiny ones, yeah? Right, cool. Right, so we don't actually have any like radial decouplers yet, which is kind of annoying, but oh yeah, no, decouplers are pretty standard. None of the fancy ones though. So our goal for this one, I think, is to just get to space. So we're gonna plop that one there. And we're gonna plop a thruster there. So one thing that's nice is here, now we're gonna be using engineer because we can see our thrust to weight ratio and making sure that like this engine is strong enough to launch this craft. And this one has a thrust to weight ratio in the atmosphere of 5. And that is more than enough. And we could actually probably like slap like another one on here, and this one has a thrust ratio of 2.6, and I find about 2 is about where I like to be, but let's be more disciplined and have a thrust to weight ratio with limiting our thrust on this stage to being about 0.5. Let's put these dinky little wings like fins on there, and yeah, cool. So now we just need some science, because science is what we're all about. Slam the engineer thing inside. Give us some goo. And I'm gonna slap 2 thermometers on here, just because we can't, right now we can't get out to reset them because we don't have the proper VAB. One thing we can also do is you can upgrade all your buildings to make them better. I don't think I have talked about that. Right, so we have all of our science just kind of stapled to the side here. And this thing is nice. We'll probably only need 1 of them because we'll probably land in the ocean. Ooh, what does deploy look like? Oh, that's not actually that fancy. Also, I'm gonna do this little cheeky thing where that thing's really big, so I'm gonna shrink it down. I know it's a little bit cheeky to be like using like the scale. Okay, you can't scale that one for some of these, but they're big. They're annoying to use. Okay, let's make sure that everything is decoupled properly. No, I don't want these to be on the same stage. Right. Any names? I like decouplers already. Decouplers already. And let's get Valentina in there. So we have nothing to do at the base here. So we are just going to enable SAS and start this one. So much more complex rocket than our first one. Actual multiple stages. Also gonna just increase my throttle, which you can see right here, to which doesn't solid rocket boosters have the same speed just always. We're gonna save our mystery goo for when we reach our thing. So we're gonna log temperature, log pressure data. Oop, don't want to fall over because we are starting to tip over a little bit. Oh, should I grab the science one? Cool. Oops, nope, that's the wrong way. Come on, come on. Hey there, how's it going? We're struggling to keep this thing straight in the air because I didn't put fins on this section. Yeah. Oop, no, that is the opposite of helping. Let's cut that throttle. Nope, we want to point up. Point up. That is the direction we want. Nope, too far. Nope, up. Up. Yeah, that's the direction. That's the direction we want to go. There we go. Lily's Pro rocket tips, point up. Oh. I just heard something boom. I think that was probably one of the first stage. And we're now flying high. Cool. So we're now flying high. Our apoapse is at... We're nearing apoapse. We have not left the atmosphere. Probably our whole, let's flip over on ourselves. Didn't help. Let's get us some atmospheric pressure. Let's get a crew report. Let's get a mystery goo observation and a temperature scan. And I should have put parachutes on this other stage so we can actually get recovered. But we're gonna have to say goodbye. And now we head back home. Our impact time is in a little over a minute. And we just want to probably follow our retrograde node. This is the symbol for, this is the direction we're moving in. And we want to be putting our heat shield on that direction. Not that we probably needed a heat shield this time. Yeah, there's math for actually escaping orbit. I wasn't trying to actually escape orbit. I was trying to just get to space for that. But that is okay nonetheless. We're gonna get a lot of good science and hopefully get some more rockets. That is the other landing strip. If we want to really try, we could try building a plane once we get the parts to do that mission and go there. It's just really hard to aim the rockets to land there. Impact time in about 30 seconds. I'm not really sure. I find that like most of my games, like I'm very much kind of like a mono gamer, and I don't really follow new games. It's more just like I find old ones I like get really obsessed with. Like my current obsessions are like Factorio. Those like usually the things I'm hyped for, like an update to a game that I'm already playing. Alright, cool. Now it is just 5 seconds, and now we're just going to time warp until we hit the bottom, because otherwise it's going to take a while. Cool, and now we are on the water. And now let us, let's collect, oops, that piece can only use underwater. Do we have to make like that underwater? Are we out of power? Cool, got it. And let's EVA, give us an EVA report. Once we upgrade our astronaut complex, we can get we can get a crew report now and a mystery goo observation. Yeah. Once we open that, we can also get surface samples, but we can't do that yet. And let us go back home with lots of data. Like, I'm looking forward to the new Stardew update. I do want to do some more streaming of that with like patrons and stuff once that is out. Got 61 science from that. That's very good. Lots of good, delicious science. Still did not escape the atmosphere. Perform experiments from the case B, perform mystery goo experiments. Oh, this one is just like having us wants us to go. This is part of a mission pack that essentially says like, hey, you haven't done this science yet? Here are specific environments you can do science in. And these are cool, but I don't really feel like getting to Kerbal Southern Ice Shelf. That is really kind of beyond, like, that level of precision of getting places is kind of beyond us right now. Okay, so we have basic science, which I'm going to pick up because it gets us the Science Junior, some extra batteries, and some other things cool that, like magnetometer boom, that's only useful in the when we're in space, or the orbital telescope. Okay, so basic science. So next on this tier we have space exploration, which just gives us, this is like a lot of good things for, whatchamacallit, life support, and also just kind of like building more long-term vessels. Miniaturization, which gives us the I was like, oh, that's an upgrade for fairings. It gives us a bunch of small parts which you don't really need, but it does give us our first docking ports. Electrics, which gives us our first solar panels, which we will definitely want when we start doing like things like moon missions. And also our first actually good satellite core, because the first satellite core that we get here does not have SAS, and it is impossible. Recycling, which gives us the recycling inline module, which is stuff for like life support and a bunch of other life support stuff. So I think the next one we want is probably electronics, but that's 90 science. That's a bit away. Enhanced survivability. Do we care about this? Not really. Flight control. This does give us better winglets, which I do very much like. And a new reaction wheel, which is good, especially for when we start doing satellites, because while our main pod has a built-in reaction wheel, the satellites don't have good ones. Stability is fine for the rail decouplers, but I actually kind of just want the bigger fuel tanks. Okay, so general to construction we have, which just has a bunch of these parts, and advanced rocketry, which gives us, which one has the aviation? Oh, this is what we need for very fancy rocket stuff. We're fuel systems. This is, I think, is our next goal, because fuel systems lets us have the fuel decks, which really lets us start doing really interesting rocket builds. Alright, so I think we just gotta upgrade that. We're gonna get to space, gotta have a slightly better system. I like how I'm devaluating the aerodynamic support, because even though our biggest problem was flipping over mid-flight. Oops, that's not a control. So I'm actually just gonna take all that off. And we are going to... So this one has... How much? So that one has 100 liquid fuel. This one has 90. Hey there, welcome, welcome. Okay, so yeah, I want these. No, get over here. I want you. You said you have subtypes too. Oh, okay, just it's not skins. It's just cool. Cool. So we get just some nice rocket bases. Okay, so looking at some math. Thrust, ISP. The ISP on the engine info is kind of its efficiency. So it does 260 as opposed to 250 is 265. This one has 280. Yeah, I like that. Let's just try that. Does it have enough thrust to weight? Oh yeah, that does very much have enough thrust to weight ratio. Cool. I like that. Let's slap some fins on that. Slap a coupler on there, and just some nice solid rocket, which has enough thrust to weight ratio. Actually, do we have nose cones at all? No, we do have batteries, and actually spare batteries and Kerbal. Also, we don't need you anymore. Again, batteries are something I just like, usually like end up putting internally, just because I think they just like look weird on top, just because, I don't know, they're weird. Get in there. And their mass is still there, but it's just like, I don't like the look of them. Aerodynamics, let's just slap some more fins down here. And this part is actually starting to get kind of expensive, so we actually kind of want to save it and not have it just die. So we're gonna give it some radial chutes. And so essentially when, nope, when this decoupler goes, and you start there, and you start there, our thrust ratio is there, that's good. Essentially when this part detaches, it will drop off and do its thing. We used to have a stage recovery tool. Guess we don't anymore. Alright, cool. But yeah. Alright, so this is number 004. Any name ideas? Suborbital. That's what it is. If I don't get any ideas, I'll just name it boring things.